So Keith, thanks so much for spending time with me today.
Of course.
So let's kind of start at the beginning. Why moldings?
Yeah, finishing a home with molding was purely functional at first. If you don't finish the interior, you have a lot of drafting, right? There's a lot of drafted air moving through the house, and also to finish off the irregularities that happen in construction. Something you might well know as the builder's secret, when you ideally think that the room is square and everything is perfectly plumb. It's not necessarily the case, and so the best way to finish off corners and edges is to add on various forms of molding.
But it evolved from there.
It did indeed, very much so.
Why all the varied patterns? They're so diverse.
Yeah, first of all was functionally, what was happening in the environment of that particular climate, what was happening in the temperament of society, what was an aesthetic popularity. Those things started becoming something of a vernacular in various regions across the United States. And that's inspired by human creativity and how trend and society communicate what might be defined as beautiful at any given time in history. For example, the peak of its carving came in the Victorian era, which is 1850s through to the 1910s or so. And that era was really peaking at the time that people were really escaping to the Pacific Northwest from anything else that was civilized in the contiguous United States. And so as more and more people were coming up to the Seattle region, there was popularity with a particular style that was vernacular. Again, something that was very popular across the country, which was this very highly ornate carved Victorian style.
So you would expect in the earliest homes that we see around the Seattle area that's what you'd see?
For the finest homes, people of power in the city, people who had control, and there were some neighborhood developments, particularly around Denny Hill. Most of that hill was a Victorian neighborhood.
Oh, and now it's gone.
It's gone. There was a mindset of needing more land for developing industry. So all of our southern area of First Avenue South, where we now have Harbor Island, all of that was a marshland. That was all filled in with Denny Hill. They decided we needed to have more land to handle industry. And so they selected Denny because it's kind of in the way of development moving north in the city. The best way to get rid of it is to wash it away. Well, there's already a neighborhood on that hill. And so if you elected not to move out, well, then you saw your street carved 40, 50 feet below you, and they would build a ladder up to your beautiful home.
Yes, I've seen some pictures of that.
Propped up on a pedestal of dirt for as long as you're willing to tolerate that until you finally let go and realized it's just not going to stay. The Victorian era was so filled with kind of a pomp and a real confidence about the glory of architecture and the glory of America and its new realm. And so that whole embellishment of wealth and prosperity that was occurring in England in the mid to late 1800s was then moving over to cousins and the like here in the United States, who were inspired by this very voluptuous, very vertically moving architecture that just stated, we are very important, we have come to our own, we are very wealthy, and we're a powerful nation. That was the whole point of that era. More is more. Let's pile more ornament on to show how much wealth we have. And you'll see now today people who will choose, really, and that's what's beautiful about having this design showroom, is that they can step in and go, oh, I see that flat stock, I don't really like that. Oh, hey, look over here, this one has an interesting little crown detail on the top of my flat stock that gives it just enough extra that would be fine in taste without going overboard, or whatever it might be. People will reinvent their spaces, but they can do it very tastefully because we have a lovely story to tell for them here. So as a designer, I'm very confident in what I would want to specify for the creation of the interior of a home. If I'm coming to Dunn Lumber like I should, how best would I be prepared? What should I bring with me to be able to know confidently that I'm going to be purchasing the right materials?
In the case of not really knowing what the style is, if we had some pictures of the outside of their home, and some interior pictures, and also some of the dimensions. You know, we like to know the ceiling height, door height, so that we know kind of what we're working with, so that we can scale it to fit that customer's desires.
Right. It's important to see it and feel it and get a sense experientially in a three-dimensional environment how to put these things together.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.